for myself too, to just like, I don't know. I don't even know where to start. So I'm a beginner.
Got it.
So sorry, it sounds like Jason, you're an expert.
Jason is an expert. Jason should be teaching this class.
But I'm wondering, so Dan, would you be open to either, like, if you kind of go through step by step this,
yeah,
record it or
so I just sorry, I totally cut you off.
no, or either that, or maybe if the new teachers are like wanting to learn more about it, if you could, you know, pop into one of our meetings and give them a little quick version. I don't know, either or. I just feel like I wish they could be in all the sessions right now.
Yeah, I'll make this pretty, you know, the one thing I want to do maybe actually is use the two of you as guinea pigs for Nearpod, since I put my thing on Nearpod.
Okay.
But I'll run through this really quickly. And just to let you know, first and foremost, like the scope of what this workshop is. So it's not the video editing workshop. You know, it is like the how to just set up your YouTube page and load your first video workshop. So it is very kind of basic and rudimentary. It's just like, this is how you get on. It's like, it's equivalent to how to log on to YouTube, set up your page, you know, and post your first video.
Yeah.
So that's what it is.
Can I ask a question already?
Yeah.
Do you have like a teacher YouTube login and then like your own personal YouTube login?
Absolutely. So I'll just jump through it and feel free to stop and ask questions. But essentially, yes, like when you log in, everybody should log in using their LA Unified account and set up their own LA Unified YouTube channel. And the main reason to do that is so that you can keep your homepage clean. If you've been a pretty consistent YouTube user, then your homepage will be filled with recommendations of the things that you like to watch. And depending on what that is, you may not necessarily want your students to see what your YouTube homepage is. So here is my LA Unified YouTube page. And what you want to do really before you start every day is just make sure that you click on your avatar on the top right of YouTube and just make sure that it is your LA Unified account that's showing up. Okay. And if you ever need to toggle back and forth, you just go switch account and you can go between your personal one or your wife's account and your LA Unified one. And the big thing that happens is obviously the more videos you watch and what you subscribe to, those are the things that show up in your feed. So unless you want, and mine is pretty benign. It's college football, CNN 10, and now the Need Money for College cooking show. So number one thing to do, obviously, is to make sure that you have your LA Unified account and that when you're browsing for personal, that you're not using your LA Unified account so that you can keep this page clean. And then all the recommendations that come on the sidebar of your various videos, etc. That is absolutely a best practice.
Cool.
All right. So with that in mind, I'm going to run through my presentation and do our thing. So first and foremost, let's have everybody. I am going to use Nearpod to present. So can I have everybody go to join.nearpod.com and enter in this code. That's a capital COYUL. That's join.nearpod.com. Give me a thumbs up if you're in. All right. Okay, so here we go. So we were going to do this little kickoff thing where I call it pass the hello. I pick someone, you do your introduction, name, what grade and subject you're teaching, and then also what is your YouTube or online rabbit hole. And by rabbit hole, I mean that time suck where you click on one thing and you keep following the recommendations, and all of a sudden 2 hours later you realize you have lost 2 hours of life that you'll never get back, that you never intended to do. Yes. Because the internet is so impressive at feeding you content that you don't need, but absolutely will definitely click on and watch. So I'll start. Dan, middle school math, and my YouTube rabbit hole, as you saw from even from my LA Unified homepage, is college football and NBA highlights. I can click one video in either of those two categories, and I can very easily, I could lose half my day, honestly. The content is endless, and it is super enjoyable for me. So that's my rabbit hole. And now I'm going to pass it over to Jason to say hi and tell us what his rabbit hole is.
My name is Jason Hayes, and please call me Jason. I don't hate Mr. Hayes, but I much prefer Jason. I teach theater, and my rabbit hole is music mashups. Or rather, unique covers of songs. For example, Neil Diamond covered by a thrash metal band, or a thrash metal band covered by a bluegrass band, or stuff like that. Like really interesting, one of my favorite Steven Seagal's, one of my favorite bands, a bluegrass band out of Finland, just released a video today I've not yet watched, covering the Kansas song, Carry On Wayward Son. I cannot wait to watch that on the break. That's my rabbit hole, because one song leads to the next, and before you know it, you've got Bad Bunny covered on cello, and you've got this like crazy stuff. So that's my rabbit hole. I'm in a punk band myself, so anything that messes with music, I'm in.
That's amazing. That is truly pretty unique. I've never heard that before. That's awesome. Okay, now you get to pass it, Jason. The only other person in our workshop.
I'll have to send you Iron Maiden covered by the Harp Twins. All right, Tara, go for it.
I'm Tara, and I think I said this already. I work with middle school level resource students. So maybe this year with our numbers, I'll be bumping up to work with some high school students. I don't know. And I'm not a big YouTuber. I just kind of like Robert, my husband, he'll just put stuff on. And I think we do a lot of like the comedy news shows, Stephen Colbert and John Oliver. So I love those. But I guess if I'm by myself, the one times that I've gotten a little bit like, oh, where'd the time go with Sade music videos.
Love that.
But she's so good, and her music videos are amazing. So yeah, I did that a couple times this summer, but it's just like not so much of a rabbit hole.
Side note, Sade was the only way my wife could get any rest when pregnant with my youngest, and we call jazz because my wife could only sleep when in utero. That baby would only relax when we played smooth jazz, and their favorite to this day is Sade.
Aww.
I love that. Oh, I love Sade.
Yeah, me too.
This summer, I almost bought a vintage Sade concert T-shirt on eBay.
Nice.
I didn't actually press the buy button, but that was another rabbit hole moment where I actually spent an hour at vintage Sade T-shirts, almost buying the Lovers Rock T-shirt. Yes,
So,
almost. All right, so here's our agenda and our learning objectives. We're gonna talk a little bit about how YouTube can be helpful in reaching students and making more accessible, which Jason, I think you already covered pretty well in talking about how you use it. Then there were 3 things that we were gonna do in our workshop, which was just having everybody create their YouTube channel. And you're gonna do that by creating a little icon for yourself, writing your channel description, posting a channel banner, putting a little artwork next to your YouTube channel, and then uploading your first video. And then we're going to end with just a few tips that I have learned along the way. So first thing first, why YouTube? And I thought I would share a couple of things. So first and foremost, pre-COVID, the most research out there says that students are spending, and these are kids aged 13 to 18, are spending 8 hours a day on their smartphones. And I think we could probably only imagine what that number is like now. I mean, I honestly could easily seeing it being somewhere like 12 to 16 hours a day on the phone for a lot of our students. So I really just think being on YouTube and, being on Instagram like you are, Jason, and figuring out all the different channels and things that our kids are doing on their phones is just critical for us as educators. My top 3 reasons are, again, I think these are things that you've already articulated, Jason, but first, there are a lot of reasons why kids may not be able to come to your class, and I don't want them to fall behind. And so if I do something simple like just recording a lesson and just posting it up there, it gives me some peace of mind to know that, I've done everything that I can to make things accessible for my students. And I think it also gives me a little bit of an intellectual bludgeon for my kids. Like I can tell students, hey, do you have a smartphone? And they almost all do. And hey, do you use YouTube? And they almost all do. Then there's really no excuse for you not to be caught up, because it's there for you and it's in a medium that you know how to use. So really it allows me to just push things back on the students. And then second of all, I think look, we know exactly where our students are. They're on their phones, they're glued to them. And so if we can just meet them where we are, we've done our part. And the last thing is I do just feel more connected to my kids if I'm spending this time adapting to the mediums they use. And even when I make my videos and watch other videos that I see, if I'm speaking the way a YouTube person might speak, if I try and create a thumbnail that will catch their attention in the same manner that I see all these other videos crossing my screen, it helps me just sort of feel psychically a little bit more attached to my kids and a little bit more in their zone. So it helps me relate to them a lot better. So those are my top 3 reasons. I think I've pushed the slide forward, and I wanted to give you guys a minute to think about some of the reasons that you might use YouTube for your students. So feel free to just share any thoughts or images that you have and post them directly to the Nearpod, and we should be able to see your thoughts right on the screen. And take a minute to go. Okay, you can wave hi. Yeah, I think that's a great reason, Tara. Like just being able to stop, rewind, change the speed on a video. It's an awesome accommodation for RSP kids, for sure. And Jason, exactly. Like it's painful to connect. I think you said it too, right? Like sometimes your kids, like, hey, they might want to come to class, but you know, they've got a brother, a sister, a baby, they're crawling all over each other in their house, and it's just not a good time. It's too distracted and chaotic, so it gives them the ability to go back. Awesome. So we're going to move on, and we're going to just have everybody set up their YouTube channel if they've never done this before. So the first thing we're going to do is watch this video. So everybody should have on their screen the three branding quick tips for your YouTube channel. This comes direct from YouTube themselves. I think it's like one of the first or second videos you kind of see when you set up your first account, but I think it's a very short, concise breakdown of how to get started and what we're going to be doing today. So feel free on your screen. Well, actually, I'll just play it right here and we'll see what happens. But
We can't hear it, Daniel. Daniel?
Volume super low. Or
Yeah, we can't hear it.
you guys can't hear it?
No,
Can you guys play it individually on your own computer right now?
probably.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe it's just like, I think a 3.5 minute video. So I'll let you guys go and do that for the next 3. Want to give me a thumbs up when you're done watching? Thanks, Jason. Thank you, Tara. So, great video. We are not going to do the channel or the sections part of the video, but we will go through the first three things. The channel icon, the banner and description, and then uploading your first video, which is essentially like your trailer. So let's start with your channel icon as the first thing. And to do that, I want to start with a little bit of a notice and wonder. So here is the current channel icon picture that I have for my YouTube channel. And take maybe 30 seconds. And if you just looked at my wonderful face and my blank expression, although I don't want to be too leading, take 30 seconds, think of, something that you notice just in the picture itself. And then think about I want you to think about what this might say about my personality. If all you had to go on was to look at this picture, what's some things you notice? And instead of necessarily like a question you might have, what do you think about, like, what does this picture or icon say about my personality? So we'll give you about a minute to think about this and jot down and share your thoughts for everybody to see on the screen. Yeah, I think these all just make a lot of sense. New to technology, low pixels, an outdated sort of crummy picture. This person, I'm now going to talk about myself in third person. So hopefully that doesn't annoy you, you all. But clearly this person is, doesn't care too much about, it doesn't care enough to even put a nice picture up there, right? And it's wearing the collared shirt. You just sort of wonder, the blank expression, the collared shirt, it's not very inviting, not very warm. I would totally agree with all of those. So.
Dan, I thought you used this picture.
What was that?
I wasn't like asking critical questions or putting statements because I thought this was your.
No, this is my current channel icon.
Right.
Yeah. No, but it's like I think it's true. It's sort of like it's not inviting. It's not warm. It's like, I think I took this picture, honestly, like the first day of, like within the first month of teaching, I think I took this picture, and it's just like stuffy, kind of uptight. So the next thing, I think this is what I'm going to change my profile picture to. And, we'll just sort of compare and contrast. What does this say about the personality or the brand that this teacher is trying to put out? Yes, trying hard. I am trying very hard. So here is where, actually, let me go back. Yes, so I think fun, maybe trying too hard, I would totally agree with, and I think my kids would probably say the same thing. But I definitely intended for it to be what Jason said, which is, hey, if you just saw this and you didn't really know me that well as your teacher, you would at least be curious, right? You might want to find out more. It might inspire you to click, given all the range of options you have on YouTube. So that was very much a driving theme for why I'm going to change my icon.
Can I ask all right, I don't know if it's a question or a statement. My kids, none of us are cool enough to be part of their crowd, right? I mean, we're all boomers as far as they're concerned. So
yes,
you know what I mean? That's fine. But it's something like that, kids see that picture. The other things I didn't write, you're not afraid to be silly. It gives them permission to dress up and be silly and have fun. And it there's almost, while they look and like, oh, the old guy is going to do this, it sort of breaks that barrier for them in allowing them, because with this new format especially, we're going to have kids, some on, some off video, and some kids afraid. It's one thing to meet your teacher in person. It's another thing to see the pores on their face. You know what I mean? And allowing the kids to have that, I think that's what I enjoy. Yes, you are trying too hard. All of us are. But that I think gives them permission. It kind of breaks down a little bit of tension. That's what I'm looking for. It breaks that tension of, oh, all right, wow, this guy's out of touch. All right, I can talk to him. Whatever. Do you know what I mean? As a teenager, I'm talking.
Yeah. And I think, what's interesting, I'm glad that you said that, because I actually, I'm going to put this picture up, but I don't necessarily love it for what you said, right? It gives a permission structure in a way to students, I think, to interact with you in a certain way. And I always just vacillate between, hey, I want the full-on Mr. Chang respect, right? But I also want a kind of looseness and a comfort level with my students where, we can be a little more casual. And especially as a, new teacher, I'm still trying to figure out where I am on that scale, really. Mm-hmm. And I suspect in year 5 of teaching, my profile picture will be in between the two that I just showed you. I don't want to be collared shirt guy that's just staring blankly in the camera. But then I also don't necessarily need to be the boomer who's trying too hard with my hoodie on, flashing signs, right? So I'm going to try this for this year and see how it goes. But I'm very cognizant of the fact that what you put out there and again, your brand and your personality, how much of that you show is really truly helpful for kind of the educational purposes of the classroom and creating a culture where there's an appropriate relationship between the teachers and the student. And
fine though. I mean, this is one guy's opinion, so take it for what it is. But it's been my experience that, you're setting up your brand, and as a teacher, what you're talking about and doing this in YouTube is as important if we were walking onto campus next Tuesday, because the way we set up our classrooms, the way we set up our classroom rules and our procedures and our protocols and all of that stuff that we all learn in teacher school, right? That is exactly what you're talking about. And I think that setting that groundwork in the beginning of the year, a couple of months in, you're going to have that comfortability and find that medium ground. It doesn't mean you have to go in as a taskmaster and try to be friends by December. That's not it. You go in with very clear expectations and a clear structure and that brand that you're talking about. And the kids then, as long as it's welcoming and not do this or die kind of attitude, the kids will acquiesce to that comfort of, oh, there's a regularity, there's a sense of comfort, or there's a trust that they're going to have in you. And you're right. I mean, I think I was teaching for 5, 6, 7 years before I kind of went, oh, I get it. You know what I mean? Like, you know, it's just, that's just the nature of the beast. I find, you know, it's why I go by Jason. I went by Mr. Hayes until I taught at an ED school, and it was the principal who was like, everybody's on a first name basis. A rose by any other name would smell as sweet. This is about respect. Respect doesn't come with Mr. or Miss. It comes with attitude and behaviors. And we had this whole practice. And quite honestly, I've stuck to that. And it's not about the name they call me. It's about the way I behave toward them. It's the respect I give to them, and that's reciprocated. It's just, for what it's worth, that's, again, one guy's experience, but I'm going to stop so you can go on.
I think that makes a ton of sense. And very much, again, sort of where, like, this is very much a reflection of like where I am at the moment, right? Like still just trying to figure it out and what is comfortable. And, you know, I think, you know, I would almost kind of look at myself and say, hey, like as a younger, less experienced teacher, I don't have as much confidence in the routines and the content as I do just about my personality and being able to connect with kids. So like I sort of shade to that part right now, as opposed to like the former or the latter, which is where you want to get to. There's my armchair psychology for myself for the day. Okay, so click on the link on your screen and you should get it should take you to a YouTube worksheet. So this is the worksheet that accompanies this presentation that walks you through all the different activities that we're going to do together to help you set up your channel.
It made me request access to the document.
Can you actually just make a copy of it directly or no?
We can't even see it.
Oh, you can't even see it. Oh, that's bad. That doesn't work. Let me see if I can change that. Hello, sharing.
Dan, what time does the workshop go till?
It's supposed to go to 11:15.
Okay. I'm just gonna let the new teachers take notes on the Schoology quizzes for me.
Let's see if I can get this thing unlocked. There we go. My connection is super slow. Let's see. Change anybody in this view. Okay, try refreshing your screen and seeing if that did it.
Yep.
Okay, and then go ahead and make yourself a copy.
Okay.
Okay, so let me explain to you how this works, and then you know, how the flow of the rest of this class kind of goes. But I was essentially going to walk through for people how to, like, just sort of the click steps of loading your channel icon, doing your channel description, etc. And what I did was I actually made videos for each of these steps so that I could just do it once quickly on the screen and then give people 20 minutes or 10 minutes to do each activity by themselves. knowing that if they needed to come back and actually see how it's done, you can click on each header and you would get a video that just replays all the different clicks, right? So if you want to know how to set up your channel icon and you forgot what I said, you would just click this and then you could watch the video and replay it as many times as you need to see the clicks of how to set up your channel icon.
Awesome. Yeah, is it okay with you if I share this with the other teachers who might?
Yeah, absolutely. That's what it's meant for. And so, you know, first things first, you know, everybody has their own worksheet. And I think before you go and set up your channel icon, definitely take the time to just write down for yourself the words that represent who you are, that kind of, that represent your personality, or the personality that you as an educator want to have with your students. So the first part of this exercise that people were going to have, you know, 15 minutes to do is just to brainstorm and actually just write out for yourself, not a branding statement, but just the words and the adjectives that describe your personality and the personality that you want to put out to your students. Do that first, and then go and take a picture of yourself and try and create a picture that actually, where those words come out, right? Whether it's in your facial expression, whether it's taking a picture with a certain background or an art element behind you that represents it. But you want to, again, use this channel icon as the first place where you're putting out a personality that your students can, you know, see and feel. So this was the first activity that we were going to have, I was going to have people do. The second activity is to actually write out your channel description and then load it into YouTube, and load it into the About section in YouTube. And I think there were 3 kind of guiding questions that I would have people answer as they write their channel description. So first, what kinds of videos are you posting on your YouTube channel? What is your YouTube channel for? What kind of content can your kids expect? Are you going to post like every day you're posting your lessons? Are you posting just homework tips? Are you doing all of that plus you're going to cut little funny videos, you know, for class culture? I think you should think about what kind of videos you actually want to post as a teacher. The second question, you know, how often will you post videos? It goes back to the what the YouTube person said in her video about, hey, if you're a content creator, you should start setting expectations with your viewers about how regular like what's your posting schedule, right? Just sort of the TikTok of what your channel is. And then the third thing I think you should think about is for your channel, like, hey, if they watch a video, what's kind of the call to action? Where, you know, if they really wanted to do an assignment that followed up, like, where are you asking them to go? And for me, I want them to go to Schoology. So I want to have a Schoology link in my banner, you know, in my description, and just, you know, at the end of every YouTube clip, I want kids to go, okay, if I took the time to actually click on this, I know what to do afterwards, which is I should go to Schoology and see if there's an assignment that's connected to it. So thinking about those 3 things will help you write a tight, concise channel description. And I think that's a great place to start, and for you to do that first before you actually create your channel banner, right? Because then your channel banner represents, should be like a visual representation for what your channel is all about. And then your first video is a cut of your channel description as well. So for the channel description, you can click here to actually see the TikTok of how to edit it in your YouTube channel. And then I also have a direct link for what my channel description is on my page. So you can click on that as an example. but we were going to do this is where I was going to break people off and do kind of a 20-minute, like, you go do this and I'll just stay online and, help you with whatever clicks you need to do. But that's the second activity for this workshop. The third activity was then to actually align your banner art to your description. And then the fourth activity was actually just to post a video. So that is my workshop in a nutshell for you guys. If you want me to go through and do it like in these 20-minute chunks where you do it with me, happy to do that. But I wanted to give you guys like the full overview now. So you guys obviously can just opt in to do it, or, I think it's probably something you've done many, many, many times over, Jason. And Tara, if you wanted to go and plug into a different
I think
presentation, like, this is to me a very logical place for you.
Yeah, this is perfect for like getting started and helping others. And can I just ask a couple quick questions about it? One quick thing is, like, so like on your channel, you have all your videos posted of your lesson, or you did that in the past. Can you also like post videos that, like, when I went to my YouTube page right now, it had all the recommended videos for me, but the kids don't see that, right? They only see what I post to my channel.
So
like, would they see that screen?
So I don't think your students see what you recommend. I think what happens, so most of your students, when they go to YouTube, it's gonna be mobile, and it's a single kind of scrolling screen, right?
Yeah.
And what shows up in the scrolling screen is all the channels that you are subscribed to.
Okay.
And the videos that are posted by your subscriptions, not the recommended videos necessarily from who you subscribe to. I think that's how it goes. Like, there's a preference for the original videos from your subscriptions list, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And I think, and anything that you've liked, like, so YouTube is just gonna, like, based on whatever you are watching, it's gonna give you, your homepage is gonna be recommendations of videos that you watch, plus things directly from your subscriptions.
Okay. What is the name of your channel again? Because I feel like if I go to it, I could see kind of what it would look like to view.
Yeah, so I don't think my channel has an actual name. It's just let me go to my channel.
Oh, so you just share the link with kids?
I just share the link. Let me see the Need Money channel.
Because, like, am I following you? I don't think I'm following you.
Yeah, please hit the subscribe button.
How do I get there?
I think actually that's like a very, that's actually a very good point. I probably should have done this. This would probably be the first thing that I include in this presentation, because I was thinking about it yesterday, but I didn't really quite know how to do it. But there's a difference between setting up a personal, like the Daniel Chang YouTube account versus a Mr. Chang's math class YouTube account. And I'm just looking at Jason, the Need Money for College cooking show, right? Like, this is, if you wanted to find this, you would go Need Money cooking show, and you would probably get this up in the search feed, and you can see that where's the about section? So it's not Jazz's, it's not your daughter's personal YouTube page. This is like her cooking show page. And she shows up as like the subscriber to the cooking page. Like, right now, to find me, you either have to have my link directly because I shared it with you, or you have to search for Mr. Chang, Dan Chang, Daniel Chang, and fight through like just pages and pages before you found the right page. So one thing that I think I would say for people to do is actually do it more like what Jason did, is like come up with a name for your channel. Like,
So on that though, the only
yeah,
caveat, because I was just trying to do that with my LAUSD, it will not let you change the name. Because I was going to do that, I was going to create Sotomayor Wolfpack Theater page. It would not let me. So I'm going to my work professional Gmail, and I'm probably going to create the professional YouTube page. Because LAUSD, I was just trying to set that up and look at that.
and it wouldn't let you
change your name.
Got it.
Yeah.
Can you
So
set up a separate account using your LA Unified email address that's controlled by your LA Unified email address?
it would not let me do that.
Okay.
It's only within the confines of the G Suite, whatever.
Yeah.
I did just put in Daniel Chang Math, and you were at the top.
Oh, I was the top?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. I think like just to be very specific with your students, because like knowing where you show up on the search, like what keywords actually get you to the top is really important.
Yeah.
So I would tell my kids, search for Daniel Chang Math, not Dan Chang Math, not Sotomayor Math, not Daniel Chang Sotomayor, just Daniel Chang Math, and then you get to the top.
Okay. And then I was wondering why, out of all the, like, I think, you know, like Steph Castro, I don't know, I think she just used the computer video to record herself. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just wondering why to choose one way of doing it over the other. Like, because when you were talking about editing your YouTube videos, it sounded like it took a while. So, you know, I don't.
Yeah. So I think the easiest ways to record videos for instructional purposes, I think really if you have a Mac, I don't know the PC environment well, but the two easiest things from instructional videos, in my opinion, are just either recording your Zoom or using QuickTime to record. So if you do QuickTime, you can very easily record whatever's on your screen. So if you have anything visual, a Google slide deck, then boom, it's super quick. It automatically saves. And then you can just upload it straight from your computer and you're done, right? And then if you're doing Zoom, it's really effective because then you can do what's nice about Zoom and what Zoom does automatically for you is it gives you the little camera shot of you talking so that if you're just looking at a slide, your kids can see your face, and it just makes it more interactive and easier to watch than just voiceover of a slide.
Yeah.
So I like using Zoom for that.
Okay.
And so those are the two easiest ways to do it without having to edit anything. Then you're just saving the file and uploading it straight to YouTube.
Okay.
And if you're gonna start to edit, then it is up to you to dig into iMovie, which comes with your Mac, and it's relatively simple to use. But honestly, like that is another rabbit hole. Like it could take me the first few times I did it in the spring, it took a whole day to cut a decent 10-minute video that I knew my kids wouldn't really watch all 10 minutes of, right? So figuring out how to use it and use it effectively and whether or not it's even a good use of your time is a kind of a question mark.
Yeah. Okay.
And then you could also just be like Jason, who's got tons of experience cutting videos, and you should just send all your raw footage to Jason and he'll edit it for you.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Awesome. Okay, I think those are my big questions. I'm just trying to like think about all the different things I saw teachers doing and just what's the clearest and makes the most sense,
Yeah.
Like if they subscribe to your YouTube channel, that's great because it's just there. But yeah, I like on Steph's Google Classroom, she would post her assignment and then post a video of her lesson like on her Google Classroom. So they just press play from there.
Yeah.
But I'm assuming you can do that with your YouTube video.
Press play from.
Just put the video like right there on your Google Classroom. As like
Yeah.
Actually, Dan, are you sticking to Google Classroom?
I'm getting rid of Google Classroom. I'm doing everything in Schoology.
Okay.
I'm gonna force myself and force my students to learn Schoology inside out.
Okay.
And just do it there.
Cool. I need to learn it too. All right. I'm gonna dip into the other the Schoology.
Oh, so I need you both to do me a favor.
Yeah.
And click on the feedback form on your screen. So if go back to Nearpod, okay, and you should see a hopefully clickable link to the feedback form for the Making Instruction Accessible with YouTube workshop that you have just attended. And please give me feedback.
Got it.
Did that link work for you both?
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome.
All right. And Dan, I have one other random
Yeah.
that's not related to this at all. Well, maybe I should just call you at another time. It's about Sophia's mom. She texted me about her being in algebra.
Yeah.
It's on her schedule. She's not, and I just said I'm not sure, but I'll check. So.
Yeah, I am actually. Yeah, I feel like if she wanted to, I wouldn't have a problem having her in the algebra class. I mean,
right.
she really.
I don't know whose like ultimate call that is.
I think it's probably Montoya's call.
Okay.
But honestly, like I would totally advocate for that.
Okay.
The worst case scenario. Like I think what you said, like last spring is I think the right advice. It's like, look, algebra is all symbolic and abstract. So we're just doing it's much more like we're going to try and make it real world, but there's just a lot of procedure that goes with it.
Yeah.
And 8th grade math is half algebra, half geometry, and it's just a little more accessible.
Yeah.
But if she wants to make a run at algebra, seeing how she finished up last year, I'd totally support it. I think she might be motivated and she'd work really hard. And, just as long as she's got the right mindset, like, hey, even if you got even if you didn't necessarily get just not to freak out about
yeah. Yeah.
Not to feel discouraged if it ends up being more challenging than maybe she thought, but I'm super I'm pumped that she wants to do it.
Yeah, I think it's cool. I'm just, of course, I'm feeling nervous about being spread out, but that's just the role. But I think Jordan's already in your algebra class for sure, right?
I think so.
As long as she's not the only single RSP kid that, I'm just trying to figure out.
Do you want to hang out and I can pull up my roster?
Sure. Or actually, I'm going to go back because I told them I'd be back and I feel.
Oh, okay. Yeah, just I'll look at the roster.
Okay.
I'll just email it to you.
All right. Thanks, Dan.
All right. Bye, Tara. Thanks for coming.
See you better, Jason, and see you guys.
Bye. Nice to meet you.
Bye.
All right. Yeah. Unless you want to go through clicks or you have specific questions or things you want to teach me.
Probably not. I'm gonna what I'm setting up, I want to run by you once I'm kind of doing it. I just want you to.
Yeah, sure.
Um,